Good morning, class 9. Welcome back to the online session of SST. And in this session, we'll be discussing about climate control. Okay, so let us begin. There are six major controls of climate of any places, and these are latitude, altitude, pressure, wind system, distance from the sea, ocean currents, and relief features. So these are the six major controls of climate of any place. Okay, now we are going to understand this one by one. Okay, let us first discuss about latitude. Okay, due to curvature of the earth, the amount of solar energy received varies according to latitude. Okay, as a result, the air temperature decreases from equator towards the pole. So let us understand with the help of diagram. Okay, you can see here this is the curvature of the earth. Okay, this is called the curvature of the earth, and when the light ray, when it comes towards the earth, it does not fall equally among all the parts of the earth. That means it's due to its curvature, the amount of light that it receives, the amount of heat that it receives does not fall equally towards the earth. Okay, in the middle portion, that means where the light receives directly, that is mostly the equatorial region receives the direct rays of the sun. This region receives the maximum amount of heat, and that is why the temperature out here rises high. Okay, whereas the other part of the earth, you can see as the curvature is like this. Okay, so the other part of the earth receives the slanting rays of the sun, and that is why the temperature out there is very less, because the land gets heated up very late. Okay, and that is why the temperature out there is low. That is why we say that according to latitude, the temperature varies on the surface of the earth. As you can see, this is your middle latitude, that is 0 degree latitude. We also call it equatorial, and that is why the equatorial region receives the maximum heat. Okay, because of the direct rays of the sun, and the other part of the earth receives the slanting rays. That is why, because of this slanting ray, it does not get heat very much. Okay, and that is why the temperature here is less in comparison to the equatorial region. Okay, so therefore the temperature decreases towards the pole. From the equator, if you move upward towards the north pole and south pole, you will find that the temperature decreases. Okay, towards the pole, because of the slanting rays of the sun, as I have already said you. Now let us understand another point, that is altitude. Okay, as one goes from the surface of the earth to the higher altitude, the atmosphere becomes less dense and the temperature decreases. The hills are therefore cooler during the summer. Now with the help of diagram, we will understand this. Okay, suppose this is a hill and the height of this hill is above 2500 meter. Okay, so as we move upward, this is the altitude, okay, of the hill, and as we move upward, the temperature decreases. As the base level, as in the valley region, you will find that if the temperature is 35 degrees Celsius, as we move upward, the temperature decreases 25 degrees Celsius, 18 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius, minus 5 degrees Celsius, and so on. Okay, it decreases upward. The main reason behind this is that the atmosphere becomes less dense. Okay, because of that only the temperature also decreases. That is why in the hilly region you might have feel that the temperature is cooler in comparison to the plains, even during the summer season. Okay, so I hope you understood this. Now let's understand another point. Okay, students, now let us understand about the pressure and wind system. Okay, the pressure and wind system of any area depend on the latitude and altitude of the place. Thus, it influences the temperature and rainfall pattern. Okay, let us understand this with the help of diagram. Okay, here I have given the picture of the earth. Okay, and this is the equatorial region. Okay, and this is your 0 degree latitude. Okay, so this means that the sun rays directly falls on this region. Okay, suppose this is the land. Okay, equatorial area. Okay, this is the land, and if the place is getting heated up, the air becomes lighter and it rises upward. Okay, when it rises upward, the place becomes vacant. Okay, so to cover that vacant place, the air from the high pressure belt flows towards the low pressure belt, because here when the air rises up, the low pressure is created. Okay, and the air from the high pressure belt, it flows towards the low pressure belt. So there is the movement of the air, and the area becomes cool again. Again it heats up, the air rises up. In this way, the movement of air is there. Okay, that is because of the pressure. Okay, and wind system you understood, with the because of the pressure there is a chain, okay, of movement in the air, and that is called the wind system. This also brings rain here. In the other places where the cloud is formed, and in here where there is low pressure, the wind comes towards the low pressure. That means the vacuum attracts the air, okay, and the wind blows here. The air tries to cover the vacuum place, and when it comes with force. So the wind is generated, okay. At that time, it will also bring along with it the clouds, and when the clouds gathered here, when it to merge here, that time the formation of cloud is there and there is a rain. That is why most of the time you see that there is a rain in the equatorial region. Now let us understand another point, that is distance from the sea, okay. As the distance from the sea increases, its moderating influence decreases and the people experience extreme weather condition. This condition is known as continentality, okay. Now let us understand with the help of diagram. This is, suppose this is a sea, okay, and this is the house which is near to the sea, and this is another house which is far away from the sea. You will find that the influence of sea is there on the weather condition of the place, okay. It will moderate the weather of the nearby area, but as we move away from the sea, you will find that the influencing will decrease, okay, as we move far away from the sea, and the temperature will become more and more, okay. The temperature will increase, okay. That means the influence is decreasing, okay. So when the condition occurs in the far off place, those kind of condition is called the continentality, okay. That means they will experience the extreme weather in the far off place, okay. Whereas the place which is near the sea, okay, they will have a moderate type of climate due to the influence of the sea. And as I told you that as we move far, the influence of the sea will be decreasing, okay. So we understood that if the area is far away from the sea, it will receive the extreme type of climate, that is continental type of climate, which means that the region will have a very hot summer and very cold winter, okay. Now let us understand another point, that is ocean current, okay. The wind affects the climate of the coastal areas. If the area receives hot onshore wind, the area becomes warmer, while it becomes cooler if the area receives cold onshore wind or cool onshore wind. Now what does this mean is that when the wind which blows from the sea, if the wind is warm, okay, if the wind current is warm, the wind which blows towards the land is warmer, then obviously the land will receive the warm air, which will increase the temperature of the area, and then it will affect the place, okay. That means it will increase the temperature out there, okay. On the other hand side, if the cool onshore wind is there, cool onshore wind means when the wind which is blowing from the sea to land is cool, then obviously it will lower the temperature of the land, okay, land area. If the temperature of the land area is high and the wind which is coming from the sea is cool, it will moderate the temperature, it will change the temperature of the land region, okay. So in this way, the ocean current also affects the weather condition of a place, okay. Now let us understand relief, okay. Relief plays a major role in determining the climate of a place. Obviously, it has got a major effect on the climate. Let us understand with some example, okay. Suppose there is a high mountain, okay, it will act as a barrier for cold and hot wind. Suppose if the hot wind is blowing, okay, suppose from this side, if the hot wind is blowing, it will block here only and it will divert. Either upward or downward, it will divert, okay. And this side, on the another side, the wind will not reach and the temperature will, the wind will not affect the place, okay. Suppose this is about the cold wind and it is same with the hot wind, okay. Another point is they may also cause precipitation if they are higher enough and lies in the path of rain-bearing wind, okay. Now suppose the rain-bearing wind is blowing from this side, okay, and it dashes with the mountain. Obviously when it dashes with the mountain, the precipitation will be there. That means their rainfall will occur this side, okay, and it will not reach another side. Since it is not reaching another side, relatively the place out here will remain drier comparison to the place on the windward side. This side is called windward side and this side is called leeward side, okay. So in this way also it will affect the climate or the weather condition of a place, okay. Now let us understand about India's climate, okay. Factor affecting India's climate. Firstly, let us discuss with the help of latitude, okay. Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of our country. That means it has divided our country into two zones, okay, and accordingly the temperature and the climate is also different in this region, okay. So when it divides the country into two parts, that is the northern part and the southern part, you will find that above the Tropic of Cancer, they have got different tropical zone, and below that has got different tropical zone. Okay, so here lies whatever portion of the country which is below the Tropic of Cancer, towards the south of Tropic of Cancer, they lies in the tropical area and they have got a tropical climate. Okay, and towards the north you will see they lies in the subtropical region. That is why they experience subtropical climate. Okay, so from here only you can understand that whichever portion of the land which is above Tropic of Cancer of our country has got subtropical climate, whereas the portion of the land which is below towards the south of Tropic of Cancer experience the tropical climate. Okay, so here the Tropic of Cancer runs from the middle of our country. It runs from Ran of Kutch in the west towards Major Arm in the east. Okay, now let us understand another point. Now let us understand about the altitude. Okay, how altitude has effect on the climate of our country. Okay, when we talk about altitude, it is related with the mountains and hills. On an average, the height of the mountains in our country is 6,000. That means the average height of the mountains in our country is 6,000. Okay, and there are other small hills also which extends up to the height of, or which has got the maximum elevation of about 30 meter. Okay, so this is the average height of the small hills, whereas when we talk about the higher hills and mountains, the average height is about 6,000 meter. Now let us see how it has influenced the climate. Okay, the Himalayan prevent the cold wind from the Central Asia from entering the subcontinent. It is because of these mountains that our country experiences comparatively milder winter as compared to Central Asia. The mountains, they block the cold wind which is blowing towards our country from Central Asia and prevent it to get chilly cold wind which we have to face if there were no mountain in the northern side of our country. So if the northern side is protected by mountains, okay, they will block the chilly cold wind which is blowing from the Central Asia towards our country. Okay, students, whatever we have discussed today will be there for your revision work. Okay, you have to revise those concepts once again, and in the next class we'll be learning on pressure and winds. Okay, we'll discuss about pressure and winds that influence the climate of our country. Okay, in this we'll be discussing about the pressure and surface wind, upper air circulation, and western cyclone disturbances and tropical cyclone. Okay, these are actually the climate and associated weather condition in India is governed by the following atmospheric condition. So this is the atmospheric condition that influence the climate of our country. Okay, so this we will be discussing in the another session. Okay, so with this I would like to take a leave from the session, and I want you to revise the concept once again. Today there will be no home assignment. Okay, so whatever we have discussed in the class, you all revise those concepts. Okay, so with this I would like to take a leave from the session. You all take care, stay safe. Thank you.